We're almost 20 years out from its initial release. After all the split screen matches, after all the intense duels, after all the early mornings grinding out those career stats instead of studying, after spending tens of thousands of hours watching those wrist rockets, is Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic still peak? After all these years, let's get into it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was initially released on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC on October 28, 2005 in Europe and November 1st in North America. You European niggas had it good for those 3 days. Though not as revolutionary as Resident Evil 4 was earlier that year, or as popular as DICE's Battlefield series became around that same time, Star Wars Battlefront 2 still is one of the most acclaimed third-person shooters of the 2000s and one of the most iconic Star Wars games of all time. Now let's dissect what makes this game one of the best there is. First, let's start with a single-player campaign called Rise of the Empire, which details the major events of the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War through the perspective of the 501st Legion, aka Vader's Fist, as they complete various missions at the behest of Chancellor Palpatine, such as grabbing crystals from the Death Star, aiding his rescue, and toppling the Separatists on Felucia, Kashyyyk, as well as Utapau. This is all a part of Palpatine's plan to unify all of the galaxy under the Republic's rule before he issues Order 66, the order to wipe out all Jedi. The narration from Tamora Morrison for the Nightfall mission is just as bone-chilling hearing it now as it was when I first laid ears on it. After taking some holocrons, saving the Jedi archives from destruction, and killing some Jedi, Order 66 is declared a success, and the galaxy has found peace at last. However, some rebellions opposed the Empire. First on Naboo. The Queen thought she had diplomatic immunity, but it was just another case of Imperial diplomacy. Next, Gisor Delso, wonderful name by the way, finds a droid factory on Mustafar, and gives the New Zealand boy some good old PTSD until Vader's fist swatted him to the ground. Lastly, the clones tried to rebel against the Empire, but after Boba Fett shot at a terminal for 20 seconds, they were raided like the mansions of the rich and famous and shot out of the sky because they couldn't watch for no wrist rockets. The 501st would end up getting bored from the lack of outbreaks until the Death Star had a prison break that resulted in the Death Star plans getting leaked, which meant the 501st had to go crawling onto the Tantive 4, while those that stayed on the Death Star had to deal with Mark Hamill's torpedoes coming in.
I'm about to blow.
So the remaining Imperials stormed the rebel base, drunk off anger and pride. They wouldn't stop until the planet burned as bright as the stars, and they burned it up. After the rebel defeat, they were found on Hoth and were curb-stomped to death by Vader and his fist. No escape, no rendezvous, no Endor, the Rebel Alliance was defeated. A bit of an alternate ending, a la the Revenge of the Sith game. Overall, I enjoyed this campaign. It has a great mix of hero, space, vehicular, and ground combat without any of them feeling too overbearing. It ties into Revenge of the Sith quite well, however I did run through all 17 missions in about 3 hours. And I was playing like shit since this was the first time I played it on PC, but the campaign showcased what the game is about. Large-scale warfare within the Star Wars universe. Sure, it's no Halo 2, but this campaign will always be special to me, no matter how much time passes by. 20 years, 30 years, fuck it, 40 years later, I'll still be going back to it. Next mode I want to talk about is Instant Action, the de facto game mode for 10-year-old me. A quick way to play in battles from both eras. Both eras of the Star Wars universe. Each ground map has a minimum of 2 modes each, Conquest and Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag is damn simple. First to 5 flags wins. But for Conquest, each team has 150 lives shared and there are command posts on the map to protect. Each map has between 4 to 8 command posts. Those command posts are divided equally for the 2 teams so that things are a fair game. The first team to get 150 kills or hold all the command posts for 20 seconds wins the match. Sounds pretty simple, but there are many factors that give each player a different role. Firstly, the classes. Each faction has 4 regular classes, a standard trooper, a heavy with explosives, a sniper, and an engineer for close quarters. Each also has 2 unique unlockable classes of their own, such as the Dark Trooper for the Imperials and the Wookiees for the Rebels, making each faction have something exciting to work towards. Most of the big maps have vehicles specific to it, with their own unique controls and firing systems that can be used to push the enemy back in certain chokeholds, like Kashyyyk's middle area for example. Career medals are earned during matches depending on the number of kills you got in one life, and what weapon you use, such as pistol kills for Gunslinger and Frenzy for rifles. These medals offer stronger versions of those weapons until your next death, until you get to above legendary rank, and it unlocks immediately. Then you just become a one-man army. The main maps are Felucia, Endor, Coruscant, Mustafar, Hoth, Death Star, Kashyyyk, Yavin 4, Maikito, Tatooine, Naboo, Dagobah, Utapau, and Polis Massa, as well as space variants for Felucia, Hoth, Kashyyyk, Maikito, Tatooine, and Yavin 4. Speaking of space battles, let's get to that next. Definitely the most interesting addition to BF2 is the space battles mode. Both sides have a capital ship to weaken and 4 types of fighters to use. A standard starfighter, a fast but weaker alternative, a bomber, and a shuttle. You can choose to just bomb the ship or take a shuttle inside to weaken its defenses. This mode was far more thought out than it needed to be, and that is why it is remembered fondly to this day. Interestingly enough, there are only 6 maps for it in instant action. The rest are exclusive to the campaign and Galactic Conquest. Galactic Conquest supports all factions through Birth of the Rebellion, Confederate Uprising, Republic Sovereignty, and Dark Reign of the Empire. It presents itself as a strategy type game with you moving your ship like it's on a board. The objective is for you to control the galaxy. The first to conquer all the planets via conquest matches wins the game. But there's more. Classes need to be bought except for the standard trooper and pilot classes. Bonuses are offered such as an energy boost and backup for health, supplies, a garrison of troops, auto turrets, combat shielding, and vehicular sabotage, as well as enhanced blasters and a leader bonus for 1 hero usage for that map. Sometimes you must decide to use one bonus over the other because you can only use 1 per match, adding to the strategy aspect of the mode. Next, a nice side mode to break off the monotony. Hunt is the planet's inhabitants versus whatever faction they fall in the movies. Droids versus Gungans, Geonosians versus clones, and so on. Each match is 5 minutes, no command post, and 50 kills to win. Ewoks got sticks and stones, Geonosians have large sonic blasters, etc. It's definitely a fun side mode to play when you and your boys are getting bored of conquest matches. Exclusive to Mos Eisley, Hero Assault pits heroes from light and dark side against each other. Han, Chewie, Obi-Wan, Luke, Yoda, Mace, Leia, Aayla Secura, and Ki-Adi-Mundi against Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Jango Fett, Darth Maul, Grievous, the Emperor, Anakin Skywalker, and Count Dooku. Each lightsaber hero has a standard swing, back swing, side swing, a jump attack, and 2 force powers to toggle. It's similar to Hunt in structure, but there is no time limit, and the first team to 180 kills wins the game. I remember playing this mode with my brothers all day as a kid and had a blast with this one. I'd love to play this online again at proper capacity when I can. As I said previously, this game released on PS2, PC, and Xbox simultaneously, but I forgot to mention the PSP version released day and date with the other versions, and it was a solid way of playing the game on the go. There are some cut maps and textures were of lower quality, but in 2005, you could do much worse than this. The Xbox version had Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto DLC in 2006, and that was all brought over in the Xbox One and Series backwards compatibility versions, as well as the Classic Collection in 2024, but the least said about that debacle, the better. Additionally, I noticed some additional lines in the PC version that weren't on any of the console versions, like these.
It's easy when there's